Right, the masks.
What?
Let's see what we got here. Huh?
Real professional.
Let's do this. Let's go, let's go.
Grand Theft Auto has come a long way since its beginnings on the original PlayStation. The first few games were top-down games that showed potential but never had the ability to make the world seem fully realized. GTA 3 on the PlayStation 2 brought the game to a fully 3D realized version, but still felt lacking in some ways. Its follow-ups, Vice City and San Andreas, took the formula and improved upon it with each game, enhancing pretty much everything in the series with them. On the current generation of consoles, we had GTA 4 and its expansions, The Lost and the Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony, wherein Rockstar North tried to up everything they had previously done and mostly succeeded. Now Grand Theft Auto 5 has been released and it's time to see where Rockstar has taken us.
I'm fucking... Fuck! You didn't have to do that! Let's get going! There'll be time for grieving later!
Yeah, you got that right.
Come on! Go, go, go! Jeez, I think they're gonna... Oh, fuck! Look, we almost caught it! Guy's a dick! Fuck you! Fuck you! Man, get your stupid ass on.
GTA 5 takes us back to San Andreas, the fictional California of the GTA universe. Within it, we're introduced to three characters. Franklin, a former gangbanger who was looking for something bigger. Michael, a retired bank robber trying to live his life in obscurity with a dysfunctional family that only living the high life can bring. And Trevor, Michael's former accomplice, meth dealer, arms trader, and general psychopath. In terms of characterization, each character has their strengths and weaknesses, which do help define them. But if one is just looking for completely random shit, Trevor is the best option for that. Through a series of events, these three are drawn together and drawn into the world Michael has spent the past near decade trying to leave behind.
Burn, you disrespectful pricks!
Having three main characters is a first for the series. Players can choose to play any of the three characters almost at any time once all three are unlocked. This adds a dynamic to the Grand Theft Auto series that hasn't been able to be explored before now. Each character has their own main and side missions to progress the stories, their own personalities, and it works generally pretty well. Switching between characters when off mission is easy and affords the game the chance to show us that each character is potentially doing something different when not being played. The switch animations are pretty varied, especially for Trevor, who can be doing pretty much anything, from waking up in a dumpster to burying what is assumed to be a body in the desert, to chasing strippers out of a strip club wearing nothing but his underwear. In missions with multiple characters, switching is either done automatically or manually, depending on the situation. Transitioning in these situations is fairly fluid and swift. The story, while not always consistent and feeling like it is moving forward at the right times, in part due to the character switching and multiple characters, is decent. Though the endings can feel to come on a bit fast. Yes, multiple endings, as in 3 of them. I should warn players to save before doing the ending mission with the choices, however, as there are some permanent ramifications depending on the ending chosen. Mission structure has seen vast improvements since even 2008's GTA 4. Missions for each character are tailored more to their own personalities and storylines, which makes each character feel different. The main missions, the side missions, and even the Strangers and Freaks missions are all varied in objectives, so that it doesn't always feel like everyone is doing the exact same thing on each mission. Missions are also graded on a medal scale, affording bronze, silver, and gold completion depending on the parameters met while doing them. There are now checkpoints in them too, a nice feature that gives reprieve from having to do each mission from the start all over again if something goes wrong. Also new to GTA 5 is the ability to replay missions to try for a better score or just to do them differently, all while not affecting the story progress already gained. The biggest addition to the mission structure, though, are the heists. multi-part missions involving smaller setup missions, choices of how to do the heists, and potential payouts. The heist missions are the best part of the game, in my opinion. Figuring out how one wants to go about the mission, setting up for it, choosing extra crew members, and trying to get away with as much of a payout as possible is a great feeling. Unfortunately, there really aren't enough heist missions to keep that feeling going throughout the game, and they're all tied to advancing the main story. This can hurt the game, as after pulling off all the heists is done, there doesn't feel like much to work towards besides all the side stuff available. It would have been very cool if there were additional non-story heists to set up, if for nothing else other than the thrill of pulling them off and to increase each character's bank accounts. A new and very needed change revolves around the times missions are available. In previous Grand Theft Auto games, if one showed up at a mission start point when a mission wasn't available for that time of day, then the player would simply have to go do something else until the time that the mission allowed came about. Now main missions simply fast forward the time of day to the time needed to start the mission. This change was desperately wanted by people like myself, and it works flawlessly to keep the story moving when a player wants to keep everything going at a brisk pace. Certain activities and pastimes are only available at certain times of the day, however. I should warn people who haven't played yet, though, that there is one mandatory mission that can be disturbing. It is not for the sensitive and can make you wonder why Rockstar North felt it needed to be there. Unlike Modern Warfare 2, where the scene that could be off-putting was allowed to be bypassed, the scene in Grand Theft Auto 5 is not skippable. It is part of the main story and will have to be played through. If there was ever a reason to show why games made for older audiences should not be played by children, this mission is definitely one of them. There have also been a lot of gameplay changes in GTA 5, almost all of them for the better. General movement is better than in GTA 4, and cars all handle differently from one another, though watching the rear of a car flail wildly is still a common occurrence, even in front-wheel drive vehicles. The new wanted level system feels natural and can be a great source of fun trying to run from and hide from the cops until they get tired of looking for you. The default gun mechanic has a nice snap-to feature when aiming, and the cover system has been improved to be much more usable than in GTA 4. The stat system from San Andreas has returned, but nothing reduces this time around. Dying or getting busted no longer removes all of a player's weapons, forcing them to rebuy or find them in the spawns around the world, though getting busted will remove all ammo and body armor, but that's far cheaper to replace. Thankfully, in a huge change, the entire map of San Andreas is open from the beginning of the main game. No bridges down for repair, no automatic wanted level for going someplace outside of the first area. This is a welcome change and one I hope they continue with in the future. Each character also has their own special ability. Franklin has the ability to slow down time while driving, giving the vehicle far better handling and allowing players to avoid nasty crashes or to expertly take corners at top speed. Michael can slow down into a bullet time-like state when shooting, allowing him to aim in real time for faster kills while trying to avoid damage. Trevor gains a massive damage boost to all of his attacks as well as increased durability, making him practically invulnerable while dealing death and destruction on an unparalleled scale. The more each character uses their special ability and then refills it, the longer they can use it in the future. However, even more has been removed from the game that I enjoyed in past installments. GTA 4 removed the ambulance and fire missions, and GTA 5 also removes the wanted missions while in a police car. Trevor does have some side missions to simulate the wanted missions, but it's just not the same to me in the end. The wanted, paramedic, and fire missions were always a fun diversion when I didn't feel like doing main missions, but still wanted to feel like I accomplished something. Taxi missions, though, are still there. A nice new addition is the ability to play the stock market. There are 2 stock markets available, the non-online LCN, which reacts only to things done in that particular game, and the online Bossack, which fluctuates based on what other players around the world are doing in their games. Learning how to play the stock market in GTA 5 can be a big boon to one's bank accounts, especially when looking to buy more expensive properties. The look of GTA 5 is overall stunning. The draw distance is superb, better than any previous Grand Theft Auto game by far, especially considering the map is around 50 square miles. Lighting effects are well done. Main characters are excellently rendered and animate mostly fluidly, while random people on the streets less so. The varying terrains from the city to the mountains to the desert all look beautiful. The frame rate is also mostly steady, though there can be some instances of slowdown that can become fairly apparent. But the ability to go anywhere in San Andreas without seeing a loading screen is very welcomed. That this game can even run on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 is a testament to Rockstar North's ability. I can only imagine how much better it might look on a high-end PC with a PS4 or Xbox One. Orally, there was never any doubt that GTA 5 would be generally great. The voice acting is well done, cars sound like they should, and weapons sound appropriate. There are tons of radio stations to choose from while driving, and they actually can vary slightly when moving to different areas of the map. Unfortunately, I found very little music I felt like listening to for most of the time, and even the talk radio stations, which I loved in previous games, felt a little stale. For me, the pinnacle of the GTA radio stations was probably Vice City, followed by San Andreas. The radio stations just haven't been as good recently, in my opinion, and even the talk radio and commercials have lost their appeal, and I'm not exactly sure what can be done to bring it back for me. When there's over 12 stations to listen to, and I find myself only switching to the 80s station, the punk rock station, and the talk radio stations, well, there's something not quite right for me. As for functionality, it's a mixed bag. It seems certain features of the game won't be live until Grand Theft Auto Online launches on October 1st, but even features that are currently live don't always act like they should. The online storage of photos taken with the in-game cell phones is completely hit or miss as to whether it will even connect. The ability to link one's Facebook account hasn't worked, at least on the Xbox 360 side of things. Even loading up the friends list seems to struggle at times. Then there's the iFruit app for smartphones. Well, just the iPhone as of right now. Since I don't have an iPhone, I have to go on other people's accounts, but that is apparently also sporadic. When it works, it seems to work wonderfully, but other times it seems to not be able to function at all because of connection issues between it and the Rockstar Social Club. To say that Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the best open-world games around would be an understatement. The overall single-player package is expertly crafted in a way that allows players to sink well over 30 hours into it and not feel bored for a good chunk of that time. There are still some technical mishaps that can happen, like in all open-world games, but pretty much nothing that detracts from the experience as a whole. We still have a few days before Grand Theft Auto Online goes live, and I'll review that separately. What comes on the disc, though, is a game that shouldn't be missed by fans of the Grand Theft Auto series. As what will probably be the last major third-party game on the current gen that isn't also currently scheduled to appear on next-gen systems, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a fitting swan song indeed.
It's the law to say certain gang insignias make you part of some vast criminal conspiracy or some shit. They just want to hit you with that RICO charge.
So, am I like families now?
Nah, homie. You just a weird, crazy dude.